Hello, Majestic Queen. Have you given any thought to your financial health? This is not a topic that we think about every day, but it's something that we should consider at least quarterly. We need to know where we will land. We need to know our position as far as our finances are concerned. But more so than that, we need to understand ways to improve our financial health so that when we do decide to sit back and relax, we won't have half the worries because we have taken care of business. And so today's presentation is all about your financial health. Yes, I went into the archives again. Yes, the archives, it really is filled with wonderful information. But I'm back into the archives so that we could understand better how to position ourselves and be financially healthy. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation with me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Smart Money Management. I'm Dr. O. And what I will be talking to you about today is your financial health. What should you consider when you're thinking about whether or not you're financially healthy? You should be thinking about these things: what your income is and what your expenses are. You should also consider how much debt you're in, how much you have to pay out on this debt. Do you have any assets? And assets are things like your car, your house, your jewelry, savings, things like what the wealthy have are paintings, stocks, bonds. These are things that are considered assets. But liabilities are your expenses, those things you have to pay out. So a lot of times people really don't spend a lot of time thinking about their financial health, but they really should. And when you're thinking about your financial health, these are the things to consider. And I'm just going to name the topic areas first, and then I'll explain to you what each means. So you're looking at your debt to income ratio. Are you prepared for financial emergencies? What's your credit score? What's your net worth? Do you have any retirement savings or investments? These are the areas that people look at when they're thinking about whether or not you're financially healthy. And basically, who does this? Your credit union, your bank managers. So when you open up a bank account and you put money in and you say, well, I have a savings account here at the bank, but I need a loan. Well, when you want the loan, they're looking at your financial health. So the first area that I spoke to you about is your debt to income ratio. And what that means is what percentage of your monthly income, which is called your gross income, is being paid out for monthly expenses. And so people who are looking at perhaps buying a house, they need to consider if they have any other type of mortgage payments, what their credit card limit is, and are they up to date with paying it, and any other type of loans that they may have out. Now, your debt to income ratio must be less than 35%, because this is what the banker is looking at. But somebody may be given up to 43% of debt to income ratio. So let's say that it's between 35 to 43%. So that is what they will consider when you're trying to buy a car, when you're trying to buy a house, and also if you're trying to get any other type of loan, or in some cases, additional credit cards. So keep that in mind. The next thing is, are you prepared for financial emergencies? Emergencies can come at any point and at any time. So each person really should have some type of emergency fund. And so that emergency fund would cover all of your household expenses for 3 to 6 months. And your monthly expenses are considered. And so if you have monthly expenses of $1,000, then what you should have saved is $3,000 to $6,000. That would cover your monthly expenses for 3 to 6 months. So let's move on to the credit score. So what do they mean when they're talking about a credit score? My goodness, here they go talking about something that I really don't want to talk about and I really don't understand. So why do I have to know this? It's very important that you understand that credit scores range between 300 to 850 for the score. Now, a score under 580 is not good. It's a poor credit score. So 580 to 669 is fair. 670 to 739 is good. And 740 to 850 is excellent. Now, you can find out what your credit score is by contacting the Financial Protection Bureau at consumerfinance.gov if you want to know more information. And then they have a lot of different credit organizations that does just this. Look at your credit score and tell you where you owe money and who you owe this money to and what's your credit score and how to manage your debt and to get that debt down. The next thing on our list to discuss for today is retirement savings and investments is what I intended to say. But sometimes I talk a little too fast and I get all jumbled up. You have to excuse me. But anyway, let's talk about this. Now, when you get ready to retire, you will want to have some money available. And so a lot of times when you work for employers, they have a retirement plan, and it's called your 401k plan. But you can also set up your own individual retirement account, and that's called an IRA, just by contacting any financial institution. And so that's as much as you need to know. If you need to know more, please contact your financial institution. Now, let's talk about setting attainable and realistic goals for the short and long term. So keep in mind that what they're talking about is how much you would like to have saved in your bank account or your credit union account. So make sure that you use SMART measurements. So SMART is SMART. The S stands for specific. The M is measurable. A is attainable. R is relevant. And T is tractable. Now, what this means is based on this SMART acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and tractable. You're going to create your long-term and your short-term financial goals. Well, first, the short-term comes. So these are the small steps that you take in order to reach the larger goal. So if you say, for example, I like to have $1,200 saved between January and December for the Christmas fund, then that means the short-term goal would be, I'm going to save $100 a month because there are 12 months in a year. And so by the time I get to December, I will have $1,200 available. So $1,200 is the long-term goal. $100 is the short-term goal. Okay, so let's see what else is here that I need to talk with you about. Well, there's nothing else to this chapter and to this session. We're in session 2, and I look forward to talking to you throughout the summer